Hello and welcome to the Dynamic Simracersworld GT Championship live on the iRacing Esports Network. My name is Sam Fitzpatrick, and alongside me for today's action is Marco Barbanera, and we are here at the not so sunny, rather the very dark Motegi circuit for this round 7 of the championship. Marco, I was mistaken into thinking the last round of the championship was round 7. This is, in fact, round 7. We are properly into the second half of the season. So far, we've had 5 different winners in 6 different races. And this Motegi circuit, it's pretty unique, and it's a unique time of day. And maybe it could offer some more surprises yet again.
Absolutely, Sam. Well, first of all, hello everyone. Hello to you and all the viewers. Hopefully, you are ready for a cracker here from Motegi, one of the more unique racetracks I think we have visited in in the history of this championship. A track with a love-hate relationship between the track and the drivers, and the commentators for that matter, and of course, a night race 100% from start to finish, Sam. And this has been throwing the drivers for a bit of a loop. Was here, as we say hello to our fantastic race stewards, Sebastian Eber and Anton Dupin for tonight. They were a bit, concerned about problems. You see it now on the front stretch. You have beautiful lights, but the rest of the track is not very well lit, in my opinion, in the driver's opinion as well. And being a very flat racetrack, this one, I think it's also tough to get those reference points correctly. So it's going to be an interesting one for sure.
Certainly is. We are currently in this practice session. The Jazz have had 100 minutes to practice. I'm sure they've done plenty of other setup work as well throughout the week. We will then have a 20-minute qualifying session. All the drivers will be on the same track, I believe, for that one. And then we'll jump into the hour-long race. One pit stop involved as well. Like I said, this is round 7 of the championship, and it has been ever so unpredictable so far this season. Currently, Jack Ashton top of the practice times. How important would you say qualifying is going to be today, Marco? Do you think it's going to be the do-all or end-all at Monza? It proved to be quite important, and that's not necessarily a circuit we'd associate where qualifying would be important.
I think it's going to be a bit different here, as I'm afraid for the second time in like a couple of days, my iRacing has crashed switching from practice to qualifying. So we'll go just a second in waiting pattern here. You will have to look at our beautiful logo whilst I reload iRacing. Sam, I think that it's certainly a track where passing is not going to be easy. There are a couple of opportunities, mind you, but I think that it's a track where we are going to see a lot of mistakes. Again, many of these drivers are not very familiar with this place, so I think that is going to be a very, very unique kind of challenge, and so qualifying will be important, but I'm expecting a lot of mistakes during the race for all the things I said, of course, earlier. Also, the lack of reference points, and again, a very and I forgot. I think cold track plus new tire model plus Japanese tarmac is going to make for interesting first few laps. Then when the tires get warm, situation should improve. But those first couple of laps will be pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's quite a demanding circuit. The tires could be quite cool by the time we get to that middle part of the lap where we have those kind of fast sweepers. The majority of this lap is kind of hairpins. You're absolutely right earlier on, Marco. It does divide opinion. I was setting some laps around this place. To be fair, it wasn't as bad as I recall it being. A little bit disappointed that this is going to be a night race because always like to see kind of scenery around the circuit as well. Makes a little bit more of events of it rather than just seeing the tarmac in front of the drivers. But the cars do look pretty cool in this light, especially with the better headlights that the drivers have at their disposal. nowadays compared to a couple of years ago. The championship then still very close. Top three in the championship are pretty much nothing between them. So, and also factor in drop rounds. You got two drop rounds. I mean, again, come on, guys. We're not very good at maths to begin with. Now we've got to take away numbers along with adding them. Oh, too much for us. Jack Ashton has recently taken the championship lead. He got a race win in round 5, a race win in round 2. It's the only double race winner so far this season. He had a pretty good Monza round as well. He's only just ahead, though, 10 points, 389 to 379, ahead of Ashley Beard, who had an awful Monza round. Really did mess that one up. So he lost the championship lead last time out. He has been very consistent so far this season, though. James Forsythe, after many third places so far this season, hasn't got better than a third place. But he's third in the championship and only 20 points off the championship lead. Nick Sherman's is right in there, and even Jews Muesli has reached the 300 mark. Sherman's is top of the silver drivers, and top of the bronze drivers is Kevin De Winter. However, James Hobden and Kevin Bernard are very close in that department. So look out for those drivers in particular. You can check out the championship standings on the Simracersworld.com website. Just click on the GT3 tab and you can get the spreadsheet up, and it is very, very useful. So currently setting the pace is Ruben Van Buell, or is that Stein Van Buell? I believe this is Ruben Van Buell actually, who is on his return, of course, after a fantastic round at Monza last time out, after a long time out of the series. You'll see some of the times, quite a big pace difference. That's because around this circuit, the start finish line is so far down the track that when you come out of the pits for your out lap, it counts as one of your lap times. So hence why you see the quite large pace differences. I'm sure that will shuffle into order. And Van Buell, in fact, dropping down to 6th position. Stein Van Buell, the fastest driver, and he was mighty at Monza. I mean, we've seen a few comfortable race victories so far this season. One for Ashley Beard, I believe. I think Jack Ashton's got comfortable race victories already this season. However, that one was almost too dominant in 15 seconds clear in the end by the end of the race, Marco. So, Stein Van Buell, is it safe to say he's the favourite for this race, even though he's falling a little bit further down the championship order?
I'm not sure about that, even though this is a track that I think plays nicely with all these straights for the McLaren. By the way, hopefully Sam, you are getting the live pictures once again, and all the viewers at home are also watching it as well after that little technical issue we had. Again, nothing to do on our end, unfortunately. It's been since the latest iRacing patch likes to crash between practice and qualifying. So
And
cameras.
qualifying in the race, so hopefully that doesn't happen today.
That has never happened to me, right?
It happened to me, and that's
Nah.
the only time it happened to me during a commentary as well. So fingers crossed.
Also, I think we have a very short pace lap around here, so hopefully that doesn't happen. First of all, I mean, in this beautiful night race, those McLaren's flames are going to look absolutely astonishing as Ruben van Buell jumps up to 4th, 49.7, as he is beaten now by Jack Ashton. As a matter of fact, Ashton jumps up into 2nd, 2 tenths away from Stein van Buell then. I mean, Stein van Buell, I think that if he can get a good quality string of quality results altogether, he can really be a contender for this championship. But he needs to be consistent. He needs to start winning races on a consistent basis. I think the pace is there. Of course, the McLaren, a tough car to get working right. But who knows? Maybe it starts right here, and especially you see from the track map. Again, this is a track with lots of straights. Not all of them are very long, but still, that McLaren doesn't need much to stretch her legs. Sorry, and put the power down and try to get as much speed as possible as other drivers are coming with their lap times. PJ Clayson there is, but of course his lap not good enough because of a spin. Still some dirt in the air here at the final chicane. And here comes Sebastian Hawkins. on the side. Look at these Audi headlights, absolutely fantastic. Sam, I hope you have HDR on your computer
Probably
because
don't.
they look absolutely fantastic. I don't know why, but they are by far the brightest of any car that we have. For example, you see the Mercedes now, bought Boland. You will see that it's not like quite the same kind of beam headlight. You can see there's a Audi Ashton in front of him, and you can see even the McLaren is not as powerful as the. I mean, absolutely extra bright light of the Audi, and let's see the BMW. No, nothing beats the Audi in my opinion. As Cooper goes up to 10th and parks the car, we have still 12 minutes left in this qualifying session.
Ooh, onto the grass for the provisional pole sitter. You're absolutely right, Marco. We've got a while to go. And seeing that it is dark, I doubt the weather's going to change a whole lot. Track is 20 degrees. I don't really need to tell you that. The coolest it can get, by the way, is 18 degrees. Coolest the air temperature can get is 18 degrees as well. And so it's pretty much going to stay static. Often in these qualifying sessions, we see the track warm up because of the fact that maybe the evolving time of day. Usually have qualifying in the morning, so it gets warmer and warmer, or midday it continues to get warmer into the afternoon. Around this place, not going to be so much of an issue. Still, all these drives pounding round on the circuit could still change the track temperature a little bit. But basically, what my point is, the pace is going to be pretty consistent along this across this entire qualifying session and across the race for that matter as well. So plenty of times for these drivers to put in as some cones. I don't think that'll be the first time or the last time that we see that today with cones going flying. Barcelona, another place where those cones can go absolutely everywhere, I'm sure. So we see a few more drivers trying to put in times. You can see the top two drivers on your screen currently on their out laps. So we'll soon be trying to improve on their times. James Forsterbeck up there in third position at the moment, and for a driver who usually doesn't do especially well in qualifying, that is a pretty good effort. But currently we are watching Neil Cooper, who's dropped back down to 11th place. This is his out lap as well. Let's see if anyone else can improve. Kevin De Winter, one of the challengers for the bronze class title. Only one personal best sector so far in this lap, and he's not going to improve on that time. Actually, Beard up into 5th place. That's a pretty good time for him, the year 1 driver. Of course, fighting for the title along with Jack Ashton. And now that Ashton has made up that gap, which was at one point pretty large, close to 100 points. Instead of protecting that lead, it's Beard who will need to bring it down instead.
Comes Shermans, leader of the apologies, leader of the silver class. Does he improve on his lap time? The answer is yes. Jumps up to third with a great lap, 49.561, pulling away massively from Fuller and the rest of the silver class as Bentham goes wide just in front of Fuller. This a jump on board with him. You can see here at night, especially when you kick up the dirt, it tends to stay in the air for quite a bit more, and of course the headlights beaming on the dirt particles tend to form sort of like a fog effect, if you know what I mean. We'll make for certainly some interesting camera shots later in the race. But Boland, here he comes. But more importantly, I'm trying to. I still have to spot on track Kevin Boland because we have the new paint pack. So big thanks to Ian Roots and the organizers for getting the new paint pack out the other day. So you see, for example, Joseph Janowski now has got his beautiful Fury Sim Sport livery there, for example. And we are waiting for... oh, we have the new livery for... there was someone who's not here tonight with his I'm still trying to think who was that guy who said he had his Audi looking like an explosion, a supernova car.
Shame that they are not seemingly here today.
Unless it's Kim Behind that changed car from Audi to Mercedes for this round.
German's, by the way, just about to put in another lap time. It's no improvement, though, for Nick Scher. Oh, no, it is an improvement. So he goes up to second place. That start-finish line. Oh, that finish line is so late down the straight. We might see a close finish, potentially, with that. So he's up into second place, and you can see how much higher he is compared to his silver class rivals. Many of them, of course, are very competitive drivers, but he's blowing them out of the water is Sherman's. Of course, is going for the overall championship as well. Currently sitting in fourth place in the overall championship as we run on board with Sam Bentham. I don't believe has attended every round this season, but usually quite a solid driver for Quantum Racing. It kind of shows how much he's improved now that he's basically on a par with his teammates David Fuller, who a couple of seasons ago was, I'd say, thrashing Sam Bentham, but Bentham's been able to up his game as he negotiates that tricky final couple of corners. Saw a fantastic MotoGP finish a couple of years ago right there. And Fuller approaches the line, and I think he stays in 14th place, so not much of an improvement there for him.
Tom Metral is having some issues. There is. And also Dries Mushti pulling a Sebastian Vettel. You can see as you were saying earlier, there are a couple of corners where the cones, as you can see right now, have a very, very tough job tonight. Lee Woodburn jumps up to P24, which is fourth in the bronze class. Here comes Jack Ashton. Two green sectors to begin the lap, then two pedestrian ones. This is the fake start-finish line, the one for the west layout, if I'm not mistaken, which I raced once in Skip Barber competition. The real start-finish line is not that far away, as you can see after this. And this is going to be a point of contention, Sam, I think, the start of the race, because you start the race basically in the chicane there in the S's. Most of the field will start either there or before that particular place, so it's going to be a bit chaotic. Of course, as you were saying, start-finish line is a bit deeper than other tracks, so that might ease the situation a bit. But very quickly, as we have the view from high above, and you can see this spectacular complex, sadly another one of those tracks, at least partially, that lives in the memory of iRacing and not used anymore, that quite unique oval and a very unique layout. In fact, the two tracks are not, let's say, like Daytona or Indianapolis. This is not a roval road course, it's a proper road course, and the oval goes all around and actually above, on top of the racetrack, as Forsdyke jumps into second for 0.049, so very close to pole position. But unfortunately, the oval, which hosted many races, especially with IndyCar in the past, and also NASCAR, I think a couple of times in exhibition races, has been deemed, damaged beyond reasonable cost and repairs after the 2011 earthquake that devastated Japan. Therefore, the oval lives in our memories. Road course, as you were saying, still very much used by MotoGP, Super GT, and Super Taikyu, for example. Yeah, unfortunately, the oval, which is one of the most unique ovals in the world, is silver lining, thankfully preserved in iRacing, like other tracks, like Oran Park, for example, and others.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a strange oval, isn't it? I'd love to see them get Rockingham as well in the UK onto
Isn't that
the.
a parking lot now?
It is, but I think they scanned it back when they visited the UK a few years ago. I think they scanned a few circuits in the UK, including Stetson, which they only modelled, I think, a few years afterwards. So maybe they got the data for that Rockingham circuit. I'll also just say, Marco, camera pack, which I will leave that. Hopefully you can edit that or act on those words but hopefully we'll see that in a moment. We've got 3 more minutes of qualifying. And remember, these drivers, the lap time that they start, they can finish. Even if they start the lap and then the timer goes down, you can finish the lap that you started. So a little bit extra time for these drivers. Great to
Sam,
see
I
PJ.
don't know what you are talking about because I loaded the latest camera pack before the broadcast. So
Well, that is not the right camera pack, is all I can say, Marco. I sent you a link
yes,
earlier on.
and I got that. Oh well,
Oh,
let's bring
oh
once
dear.
again the still image up, which has been very useful tonight, and see what we see. This is all done, of course, for your own viewing pleasure.
It is, because
You are
the
right, I don't know why, but the cameras were not loaded correctly.
so you prepare your eyes, get some sunglasses on then,
But
because
this
they're
is
about to
strange
be
because,
blamed.
Sam, I think they unloaded when the sim crashed. Because if you remember, before we went live, the very
You
loud
did
karting
say.
still image was there. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There you go. You seem to have it now. So superb. Feast your eyes
beautiful.
on these GT3 cars. Will be a little bit better now for the race. Jack Ashton, he's dropped down to 5th place as Ashton now. Great lap for Yanowski recently to put himself up into the top 3, only 1/10 off pole. James Forstyke also getting himself up into 2nd place. However, he is stranded in the pits at the moment, so will not be able to improve. PJ Clayton's ready to see him out in qualifying. He hasn't done qualifying the last few rounds. Usually gets up from the back of the grid. It's surprising he's not further up. Former pole sitter, of course, this season. Has got 2 poles so far this season. But he is not improving at the moment. Does improve there, but doesn't improve any positions. Remains in 14th place. So needs to find a bit more time out to that McLaren does place, and certainly expects to see him faster than that come
Oh
the
dear.
race. Just trying to see who's going to be faster. I think the top 3 are all in the pit still, so I think it's only Nick Sherman's who's got the potential to take pole position and change the hierarchy at the top.
And you can see on the bottom of your screen, Sam, no one is improving. Maybe Ashton
Oh.
with a green second sector, but everyone else is having massive issues getting those tires into temperature. You see now pedestrian third sector for Ashton. By the way, I really need to stop saying pedestrian, but it's a word I love.
I don't think you said too much. I think it's all right.
Now, I got thrown for a loop the other day because there was one of our colleagues that didn't know the word catatonic. And
I don't
then,
know the word catatonic.
okay, perfect. So, did I make up that word? Let's see.
Oh, I don't know. I think I've heard of it.
Oh, no, it is a word.
Like explosion or something?
No, catatonic means of or in an immobile or unresponsive stupor, which was me describing you the other night when you jumped in for the broadcast.
Oh, don't do broadcasting at 2 in the morning. It's not good. Heck, it was
Ashton,
3 in
here
the
we
morning,
go.
wasn't it? Oh, there you go. Ashton puts it up to 3rd, so they're
Out of
barely any.
nowhere, eh? This was
Yeah,
a lap that really was not promising anything good for him, but it did in the end.
that's
And
big for the championship. Although he's not going to get the. I believe you do get a bonus point for pole position. Looks like that's going to go to Stein Van Buell again. See how many race winners we've had this season. Haven't had that many pole sitters. Really, Van Buell and Clayson's taking the majority of these pole positions so far this season. Neil Cooper improves as well, puts himself into 9th place. So the timer will tick down or tick up, as it's looking like at the moment, and then we'll be able to go to your grid. But Van Buell seemingly a little bit clear of the rest of the order. However, James Forstyke said it earlier on when he was sitting in 3rd place. Not usually a strong qualifier. He's been able to outpace his teammate Ashley Beard for one of the first times, I think, in the season. He's the top year one driver in qualifying. So starting in second place, that's a really strong start for the man who's already got 3 podiums this season.
Absolutely. I mean, and once again, I think that being clean is going to be very important, together with being fast. But being clean, of course, will be second or maybe first most important around here. These first laps, I mean, going to be so crucial with the cold tires, cold track, Japanese tarmac. By the way, I still haven't said any word in Japanese, which makes me very, very sad. I will try and say something later.
Can you say "and to the grid"?
No.
No, okay.
I mean,
no, that's quite tricky.
That's also quite difficult to say. But, storia di qua, starting grid.
So here we are then, Stein Van Buren on pole position with a 49.29. He's on pole position by half a tenth of a second ahead of James Forsyth. Jack Ashton, championship leader, lines up in third. There's Joseph Janowski. You can see him back up there for Fury Simsport in fourth. It's Nick Sherman's top of the silver drivers once again for fifth. Then it's Seb Hawkins, Ashley Beard, only 3.5 tenths off pole. I mean, it's really close. Ruben Van Buren, another strong qualifying for him, only his second meeting back. Neil Cooper and Adam May ran up the top 10. Then it's Bod Boland, Chris Muretta in 12th place, the car number 88. And if we could, there you go. Sam Benson in 13th place. Second place out of the silver drivers.
No words. I mean, you need to have respect, Sam. It's been 2 years that I've been doing this with you to this date, yesterday. And
Let's
also, I'm turning 31 tomorrow, so respect your elders.
Let's see if you can get the next change of grid right, yeah? You got a little bit of time to prepare for it. Get your finger on the button, and we'll see if we can get it better. PJ Clayton's lines up in 14th place, much higher than he usually starts. David Fuller in 15th, then it's Paul Gosling, Tom Metherell, Dries Moosty, Stephen DeWolf, Craig Jones, Kim Bahite, Kevin De Winter, Thijs Vandenberg, Lee Woodburn, James Hobden, and Matez Temp and Kevin Byrne will round out the order. I must say, Marco, I was quite impressed by that. I was tempted to pause with one name to go and really test you out, but I was fair. And that was your grid. Yeah, you can see the manufacturers on the side of the screen. Decent mix of different cars, as you see the best car out there, the Ford Mustang pace car, which will lead us around these tricky final few corners. A quick word, Marco, who's going to win?
I bet €5. If I was a betting man, I'd bet €5 on Stein Van Buren, the 47.
Okie doke, the winner from last time out at Monza. Could he join Jack Ashton as our multiple time race winners this season? This is round 7 of the Dynamics Simracersworld GT Championship live from Motegi. And it is Van Buren from the pole position. He is going to go early, to say the least. He's jumped the rest of the order, and this could be tricky for the other drivers to get into single file through those final few corners. A couple of the Meraki drivers side by side, that's going to drop them time. Decent start for Seb Hawkins, already getting past Nick Sherman's. There is Hawkins having to go around the outside of Sherman, who retaliates into turn 1, and that was good defending there. Ashley Beard not quite being able to profit from all of that. Also, Chris Muretta gets past Bod Boland. Cooper did get past Van Buren, but really very few changes down the order, as we've got a car slow on the inside, and that's Ashley Beard.
Oh, a collision!
Slow down for Beard, as off the circuit as well is Neil Cooper, who had just gained a couple of places, and Ruben Van Buren, Stein Van Buren's brother, is off in the walls as well. However, both of them have seemed to have escaped too much damage. That's Adam Murray as well, moving past Chris Muretta. Trying to get up into 8th place is Murray. Both of these guys with very good starts. And Muretta might just gain his 4th place of this race. It hasn't quite happened for him, as a little bit of a divide between the two year 1 drivers starts to form. Out in the lead, though, it's Stijn van Buel heading the way, 9/10 of a second ahead of James Forsyth. Jack Ashton in a close third, but top 7, absolutely no changes so far. And actually quite spacious as well. It's not the same behind Adam Murray, though. Pretty much the entire field, and I mean the entire field, you can see it on the track map, on your screens as well, all queuing up behind the Year 1 driver.
Absolutely too bad for that collision, which we might go back and see what happened. So I think Van Buel missed his braking spot there a bit and clipped the back of Cooper's car. Oh, and we have another crash there. That is David Fuller.
Of Quantum Racing. And he went a long way off the circuit and then had to take a very long way to get back onto the circuit, spraying gravel onto the track. And we're hopefully going to find out how this one happened. So a couple of drivers already going wide. I think it's a bit further up where Fuller had his issue.
Yeah, that was the Winter going wide, but I thought the two things were related, but they were not. There he is, Fuller on the right side with his Audi, and he got clipped by one of the Fury cars, I think?
Yeah, it could have been... I was thinking
Cooper?
maybe 10, but I don't think it was 10. Yeah, Cooper, good shout. Yeah, it must have been.
Maybe I don't want to assign blame to anyone, but of course the stewards already working hard behind the scenes as the gap at the front has been compressed after the first lap. As you can see, only half a second between Stijn van Buel and James Forsyth, Jack Ashton, Joseph Janowski, Nick Sherman's the top 5 inside 2.5 seconds. The top 3 in 1 second as they go on the alternate start-finish line.
Yeah, the dummy grids. Do you have the term dummy grid in Italy?
Yes.
Okay.
We usually do it in the paddock.
Like, yes, that is usually, yeah. But I mean, pretty much wherever they line up, I guess, is okay. As wide is the race leader, this could be the opportunity for James Forsyth to make a move. The McLaren is quick down the straights and Forsyth lifts out of it. It's not a big braking zone into turn 1. Forsyth seemingly kind of lifting and coasting. Maybe he was just suitable on the brakes, to be honest, because Fuel did seem to run wide as off the circuit is Tom Metherall, who had a tricky qualifying, tricky few run of races as well for Metherall, and he's had a tricky race so far.
We'll go back to that, but this fight absolutely fantastic between the top 3, top 4. As I mean, I still don't know why iRacing doesn't remove those cones there in turn, I think 3, entering turn 3, or turn 2, depends on how many corners you count the first one. Because every lap you will see cones fly left and right and center. By the way, there was a problem for Matthias Stem as well. So very quickly, there was a 3 wide here. Several cars were involved, including, I think that was Lee Woodburn in the white Mercedes, going for a ride. And Tom Metherall, he had a connection issue. He disappeared from our radars, and then he reappeared. And you can see, Back to the Future style, reappearing in a plum of smoke into the tire barrier, unfortunately for him.
Van Buel doesn't seem to be the fastest driver out it. The other drivers behind do seem to be a lot faster. Janowski, for example, on that last lap was 0.8 of a second faster than the pole sitter. But with Forsyth not seemingly too aggressive right now, really a whole lot of change that can occur with these drivers. Lee Woodburn back to the pits. You can see him just dropping down the order after taking a tow back to the pits. A little bit of a gap forming to Nick Sherman's. However, Sherman's did match the race leader on that last time around. Seb Hawkins as well, the fastest driver on circuit. He's in 6th place, so still plenty of opportunity for these other drivers to catch back up as this big pack have started to spread out. However, we've still got this night's battle with Gosling, De Wolf, and Van Buel and Mushti.
This is Murray making a mistake. Tricky rejoin, dropping several positions. He will be basically in the midst of the top drivers in silver class. Let's see what happened to Adam. I think it was all on his own. The slippery Japanese tarmac doesn't allow for any kind of distraction, unfortunately. As Tom Metterall has towed back to the pits, unfortunately. So that crash probably was too much for his Mercedes AMG. His Audi, of course.
Anyone who's
Getting
anyone
older.
who's yeah. Anyone who's watched tennis will know that that's not the first time that Murray has made an unforced error.
Oh wow.
Hopefully he will
Okay.
ace
I'm leaving
the
the booth.
rest of this race.
Sam will have to do the rest of the broadcast on his own after this.
I wonder if this will be a good return from
dear.
him. I'm sure I can think of a few more. Just give me time. Give me time. I can produce wonders such as that. PJ Clayton, who's up 3 places. Not quite with the pace that we associate with PJ Clayton. He's stuck behind a couple of his Meraki teammates at the moment.
Great.
This is not starting from the back.
Yeah, strange for him. By the way, great laps for Van Buel and now for Beard with a 49.955. That's the fastest lap of the race. They are the first two guys to go below the 150 wall. And very evenly matched, all these guys at the front. I mean, this is absolutely crazy how quick they are and how evenly matched they all are. Basically from first to seventh, and as you can see there is a bit of a gap. And then you have this trio of, like you were saying, of this trio of Meraki cars. Let's see what PJ Claessens can do. As Steven the Wolf is pointing in the wrong direction, now back in the proper direction.
Oh, I think Ruben Van Buel was involved in that.
Yes, because he disappeared. Okay, let's try and understand what happened there.
It's got the year 1 car behind him.
So
It'd be
the
Murray.
Wolf, I don't know if there was a touch or not, but what happened to Ruben? He was already in the pits there. No, he entered the pits.
Huh.
Maybe a penalty?
Maybe qualifying fuel?
Maybe qualifying fuel. Of course, he was involved in that contact at the beginning of the race, Sam, so maybe the stewards decided it was his fault after all.
Shame for Ruben, who still understandably getting his pace up after that. I think there was a cycling incident earlier in the year.
And that was him. And now it's Forsyth with a 49.886, the new fastest lap of the race. They are trading quick laps there at the front, 10 minutes into this race, Sam. And again, this track not making many, it's not being a difference maker so far. It's as a matter of fact, it is really balancing out the performance of the drivers. And let's be honest with you, that I think that this is not like the most demanding of racetracks in terms of level of difficulty of corners, as Moretta is letting his teammates by there. It's again, it's more of a track where you need to not make any mistakes, but it's not like the track is going to put you on the spot. As you can see, it's pretty flat, pretty straightforward in its layout. So the excitement that this racetrack provides, if any, is again that it's a track that balances the performance more than putting a certain driver skills on the forefront. If my concept was clear enough.
Yeah, I'd certainly get your point. And many of these corners, particularly in the middle part of the lap, you can see the track map. I'd say all the corners really from, say, I guess probably turn 1 all the way to near the end of the lap are all kind of, if you had to draw out a circuit, you would draw it very similar to that. They're all very, very nice. You can imagine like a pair of compasses during many of these corners. And then that last section, I mean, I don't know whose idea that was, but I do think it works fantastic in GT cars. Doesn't really have fantastic side-by-side action. However, of course, whenever you have Mark Marquez, I guess, on a motorcycle, it does turn into an overtaking opportunity. So apart from that, though, you're absolutely right. It's kind of standard corners, not a whole lot of banking, not a whole lot of trickiness, a little bit of runoff area as well, which these gyros can be exposed to. And that's kind of the race that we're forming at the moment. A whole lot of overtakes all the way down the order. I've seen very few overtakes so far in this race, but everyone kind of being quite patient. Jack Ashton looks like he might be the fastest driver. He's yet to set the fastest lap of the race at any point of this race. In fact, he's yet to get under the 1 minute 50 barrier, unlike 3 or 4 other drivers in this race. But he's still looking very nice in that third place, saving a lot of fuel, which could be very useful later on. Also got a little bit of a unique pit entry, a little bit like Zolder we visited a couple of weeks ago. So watch out for that one as well when the drivers have to come into the pits in probably about 20 to 30 minutes.
Finally, Kevin Bolland's new livery in all its glory, beautiful there, as Sam Bentham is going past Bod Bolland for P10, and Sam Bentham, of course, second in class, but Bolland answering right back.
And Bentham going around the outside, not going to happen for him, and that was I don't know, maybe complacent from Bentham, because Poland was very much, oh well, you're not going to have to defend the inside line. Oh, all right then, I'll just go straight back past you. Jack Ashton now does set a sub 1 minute 50. That's I'm sure you saw that in bright purple popping up on your screen. Neil Cooper very much in this battle as well after getting involved in an instant earlier on. Started up in the top 10 did Cooper, but did drop down earlier on. What's got a nice battle between Tem and Fuller going on. Fuller, of course, recovering after that. He's been first on well, actually. He's back up into 19th place. And he lost loads of time from that spin. So he's done a pretty impressive pass as many drivers as he has done so far. 1 second still separates these top 3.
Super close here at the front, Sam, absolutely. As now they are looking this top 3 to pull away from Janowski, and that's what they are doing. As you can see, Sherman's still happily in the lead of the silver class, and of course the leader of bronze is Craig Jones, who's I think in need of a good result, and so far he's looking very good for his team SCC Racing. Number 370 Ferrari, one of the few, if not the only Ferrari, yes, in the field. So keeping the prancing horse, flying high here, the flag of the prancing horse flying high. And I didn't think it was ever going to be possible to have a day where you had more McLarens than Ferraris in this championship, but you never know with iRacing, and there we are.
Yeah, the Ferrari very low on numbers as well in the World GT Championship, although there are more of them. Van Buren with the fast lap, and then look at that, course, like 1/100 or 1/1000th of a second faster.
Wow.
These guys absolutely matching one another. Of course, a little bit of an apostrophe, not an apostrophe, an asterisk by that, saying that Forsyth, of course, is kind of waiting behind Van Buren. At least I feel. I think he's kind of saving a bit of fuel. Knows that he wouldn't be able to pull away even if he did get the race lead. So yeah, just matching it at the moment. You can see no sign of them having to lap anyone by the end of this race. We're a quarter of the way through this race. And they are now 0.4 the way round the circuit as the stragglers at the back make their way through the first few corners, but I doubt they are going to catch fire at the end of this race. So it's going to be a proper battle to the end. This is the type of battle we've been kind of waiting for all season, I think, Marco. We've had a couple of tight battles. I think Daytona was Daytona was very close, wasn't it? Of course. Sebring was pretty close with Van Loosenord and Claessens. Zolder wasn't fantastic. I think there's been a few rounds so far this season, particularly Watkins Glen. That was set up to be an awesome round before pretty much everyone crashed on the first couple of corners. Now we have got this proper showdown between 7 of the most competitive drivers in this series.
Absolutely, Sam. And I think, again, we were, like you were saying, we were due a race like this because we have seen a lot of balance there at the front, but never in a single race. You know, and maybe this is the race we were waiting for. But look at that, because all of a sudden, Forsdyke and Ashton got very close to each other, and even though Ashton didn't actually attack Forsdyke, this caused both of them to slow down, and Van Buel pounces in with the fastest lap of the race, and all of a sudden creates a little pocket of breathing room, 1.2 seconds in front of Forsdyke and Ashton. So really, maybe it's and again, those cones getting absolutely clobbered by Ashton there. So now Van Buel maybe with the break he was waiting for. Let's see if he's able to keep this gap, or if Forsdyke and Ashton stop fighting. I mean, they were not fighting at all. I mean, just got close to each other. Forsdyke made himself, Ashton made himself a little bit big in Forsdyke mirrors, but never really went for the move. That's all it took. Maybe a little bit of a mistake from Forsdyke. And Van Buel now pulling this now 1.4 seconds gap, and in a race like this, you know, this could be the decisive moment of the race this early. Of course, long way to go still, but if you can get away from the draft, which is not particularly strong in these cars to begin with, mind you, but if you can start to get away, and we know that Stein can get into a rhythm very, very nicely, this could be the key moment in this race. So let's keep on following the action, and let's see if Van Buel can capitalize, or if Forsdyke and Ashton can close the gap, as we have Tem, Fuller and Behait here fighting for position.
Oh, there goes Fuller down the inside
Oh.
into the hairpin. That was a late move. I think it's a pretty good move, though. Tem wouldn't agree with me on that front. Tem does stay ahead, though. That was from out of nowhere for Fuller, but then it is a very tight hairpin. That's so from the defending judge's point of view, there's
Oh,
pretty much nothing you can do. Tem with a slightly late block, and they're just losing each other a lot of time. But Height is right with these guys. And Fuller has been sitting behind Tim, I think, for quite a few laps. Yeah, he was 19th. I think he's got ahead of Tim the height quite recently. But he hasn't really been able to make any progress past Mateus Tim's fight, showing that he's quite a bit faster. Yeah, the height losing out to the pair now. On that last tour of the circuit is the Winter, who is not having the best of rounds, is the bronze driver. You can see he's down in 5th place in that category. I believe he's the championship leader there. So surprisingly low as Tim and Fuller are close again. And how there wasn't more contact, I do not know.
Thanks to the stewards who are also doubling as pit reporters. They say, of course, no penalty for Ruben Van Buel. Maybe they are thinking, just like you, low fuel. Mistake after qualifying. Oh, good exit there from the Quantum Racing driver on the inside of the Fury Simsport driver. David Fuller might... Oh no, they touch, and there's a massive off. And thankfully there's a plenty of runoff area there. And I
There
think...
might not be enough.
Oh. He avoided the wall, but that was a scary looking crash.
That was properly quick into the gravel. And that's the second off that David Fuller has had. Now, who came across on who here? To me, from that view, it wasn't totally clear. I think there is going to be a fantastic view to it. Maybe TV3 might be our best
That was
shot of
TV3.
it. Oh, was it? Okay. Okay, well, that's as good as it's going to get, folks. Here we are. This is the... so Fuller kind of straightens up his car, doesn't need to keep a tight line. Whereas Tem moves across, expecting Fuller to move across himself to the racing line. And it all causes a few issues. This is not the same two cars. This is just two cars from the same team. This time it's Quantum Racing defending from Fury Sim Sports. Cooper round the outside. It's going to be a great move if he can pull off this one. He does run wide though onto the grass, and Bentham stays ahead.
I mean, This is a great camera pack, I have to tell you, and I know how much you despise this place. So I like that you are a true professional. You poured your heart and soul into this. I am missing the wall cameras from Bathurst, to be honest.
Apologies, yeah. I need to edit that a bit. The height is off the circuit now.
Ooh.
So he just gained a place on Fuller after Fuller's off. He's now back behind Fuller, along with a few other drivers.
I think all on his own, yeah, went wide on the power too early, traction control, desperately trying to save that car. I am super confident that Kim was running the Supernova liveried Audi. In his words, that looked like an explosion basically. A Supernova, it was multicolored Audi until the previous round. And now he's driving the Mercedes AMG. Oh, by the way, tomorrow we have an iRacing patch, not fix, a patch, so we might expect some surprises. You know, it's my birthday tomorrow, so hopefully they will make, you know, some more AI stuff. It's been a while since we had it.
Yeah, a couple of new circuits would be quite nice. Maybe this place. Maybe that will get AI.
Oh,
I think it's
ovals.
quite
We need ovals.
ovals. Apologies. What oval cars currently have AI?
NASCAR cars have AI, but you know the A class, but they only have Daytona and Talladega. So you know,
Oh,
want a little bit of you know, more traditional racetracks. As Sam Bentham is somewhere.
oh, it's not the same corner, is it? No, it's earlier on. Oh, and that's an off as well for one of the Meraki drivers. We'll probably see that in a moment. So Bentham runs wide. That's not too bad. But then we've got a Meraki driver further up ahead, and that is it Bod Boland. Yeah, it's Bod Boland.
It is Bud Boland, but there is nothing on the event viewer.
Maybe he just went slow. Because he didn't seem to spin the car. I don't know how he would from that position.
Oh,
Ooh,
this corner. What's going on in this corner? I mean, what did they put? Like, there's a banana peel there. I know the pain of these drivers, but Poland and Behait have spun together in separate crashes, mind you. But there we go. There's one, and you will see Kim Behait. Oh, no. Oh, okay. There was also contact there, so that was, you know, we didn't catch that at first. Kim Behait with some big damage because he had to tow back to the pits. Meantime, Nick Sherman's 49.706. That's the fastest lap of the race. He beats Van Buell, who just had the fastest lap of the race a few seconds earlier. At the same time, let's see the comparison in lap time, Sam, because I think that slowly but surely, what happened to the graphics here? This is.
I'm seeing good graphics.
I'm seeing them a bit.
Oh yeah. Oh wow, yours is messed up. mine are fine. So something going on your screen there.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you can still see the data anyway. Van Buell and Forsyth evenly matched. 1.5 seconds is the gap. So there you can see that lap 9, which was really where this gap started to form. But ever since then, it's been pretty even between the two. Then we are talking about tiny margins right now. I mean, it's up to 1.6. Slightly different lines as well. You can see on that timing tag, just through that corner, we're seeing that a few times. Van Buell pulling away on the corner inch, and then on the corner exit, Forsyth coming back at him. So always nice to have a look at that one. As we see a replay of something.
David Fuller spinning and towing back to the pits, unfortunately.
Oh, no.
So yeah, thanks to Davey Whittables for wishing me a happy birthday tomorrow. Of course, a double celebration because not only is my birthday, but also the anniversary of me officially joining Apex after the trial broadcast on the 7th. As I said in the podcast, it will be my autobiography, which is due to come out very soon.
You're gonna have a few autobiographies, then, are you?
Yeah, of course. One for each, you know, one for each like 25 years.
Okay.
So this is in the second one, the second book. You know, the clock was just a few minutes past midnight, and I got a message from Alex telling me that, you know, if I'd like to join after my trial broadcast at Bathurst. It was one of the best birthday presents, and I say this without being, this is serious, one of the best birthday presents I have ever had. And look at us now. I mean, how things have changed. I mean, the passion is the same, the happiness the same. It's a beautiful group that we have here at Apex. And finally, even though the circumstances, of course, are a bit sad, I think sim racing is finally getting, you know, the recognition it deserves, and on a more, you know, on a more, how can I say, philosophical sense. I'm very happy that we are, you know, almost every day now part of your entertainment. You guys watching us, of course, there is not a lot going on to distract ourselves from all the bad news that surround us. So hopefully this is every day we try to provide you with as many broadcasts as possible, and there are many more coming, especially late at night. So I don't know about you, Sam, but my sleeping pattern has been completely destroyed, both by the lockdown and by, you know, the late night broadcasting. So I decided to embark on 2 more very very late nights. So yeah, if you have trouble falling asleep, you know, hopefully you can we can keep you company.
Definitely. And of course, we are broadcasting as well on the iRacing Esports Network, Apex Racing TV, that is. On Also on the Esports Network. Of course, don't go to that because you need to watch this. We recently had a pit stop for
Well, but
Ashley
this is
Beard,
only
who
on the
was
esports network, Sam, so I don't know if you want to lose viewership.
yeah. Don't go to the other stream, basically. Meanwhile, uh, going into the pits was Ashley Beard. He was running in 7th place. Setting some decent times was Beard actually, but maybe getting a little bit held up behind Hawkins, whose name for sure. I don't know about you, Mark. I always think of the Shawshank Redemption when I see that name.
Yeah, in Italy it's a bit different, the name of the movie.
What's it called? Surely it's the name of the prison. How can it be called something else?
Well, you can imagine for Italians, Shawshank Redemption is a bit of a mouthful, you know.
It's a
I re-
mouthful for us, honestly.
I really don't like. You know, I watch all my movies and all my TV shows in original language, and I generally dislike translations because we have made some unforgivable sins in translating names of movies. But this is one I actually like because in Italian it's called Le ali della libertà, which means the wings of freedom.
That's pretty good, to be fair. It's better than Shawshank Redemption. I mean, it's an awful name for a superb movie, of course. Fastest first sector just now for Bod Boland.
Yeah.
Don't know why, but if you want to do that, boss, then so be it. But that came out of nowhere. The driver currently running in 11th place. Clearly nailed that one corner. What times is Ashley Beard doing? Has come out in a bit of fresh air. Wonder if he's going to set a decent lap time. He kind of needs to set some low 50s at the least. Does Beard? He's probably had a shorter pit stop than many of his rivals. Strangely, they came in so early. Maybe just didn't want to battle with Hawkins. There's a 50.72. That's the same pace as Hawkins, so pretty much the same pace as he would have been doing anyway, but needs to pull out some better times than that. Does the second place man in the championship if he wants to get particularly high up on the order. Remember, we've still got 10 more minutes until the majority of the pit stops are going to be happening.
So David Whittemore was asking what's coming up on Apex. Of course, tonight we have nothing, I think, which is a bit surprising. But we will, I think, start. You know, we have a very very busy end of the week, starting with AOSC on the Esports Network and on Apex Racing TV starting on Friday. That will be at 10:45 GMT. Then we have a new series, the E-Series Cup at Laguna Seca. That will be on the 11th at 11 GMT. I think I'm doing that. I don't know. I lost track of my commitments.
Wait,
Then
what
we have
class is that TCR?
Huh?
Is that TCR?
Yes.
I
No.
think I'm doing that one.
Yeah, I think I'm not doing it then. I'm doing something very late. That starts on Sunday, but I still don't know what that is.
Oh, you've got
Uh,
ARL GT as well on Sunday. Don't miss that.
yeah, we have,
That's
of
all
course.
I know, basically.
I mean, Saturday we have that we have Simracers Asia, of course. That will be at 13 GMT. Then we have the Road to Indy at 16:45 GMT. Then we have Formula 3.5 at 22 GMT. I mean, talk about a very busy, very busy Saturday. And then of course on Sunday, Aussie Mixed and Fixed 10:45. A new series, the Team Hard Racing League with Up Financial, that will be at 18:15 GMT. Then of course Apex Racing League GT at 19:10 GMT. Tons of stuff and a couple of series yet to be announced. Again, they are coming very soon in the next few days. That we will be announcing again. Mostly very. I think I just got booked by Lee. During this broadcast, I got a message from Lee, and the message is broadcast 2 a.m. GMT on Friday mornings. My answer was yes. So that's 4 a.m. Hopefully, Sam, they don't draft you in for that.
Oh, it's not happening, Marco. It's not. You're honestly, the other day you could have done it by yourself, and no, I was like, nah, I will do it, and I also want £5. So I put my name down, and honestly, I regret it because I am a creature who needs its sleep, and I did not get my sleep.
Yeah.
Honestly, I woke up about 12 midday. Midday. That's not like me. I don't wake up at that time. I wake up at 10 pronto. So was not very pleased with that one.
But first of all, you put something in your tea that really woke you up because, I mean, after the tea, you were
It was
absolutely
all good acting, Marco.
good
That's all it
acting.
was.
Okay.
Good acting.
I mean, just to tell you how much screwed up my sleeping pattern is, of course, I had broadcast tonight with double broadcast last night with Austin as Kevin Bolland and the Wolf. The Wolf goes by, and at the same time, Mujdi is pointing in the wrong direction on the proper start finish line. And here we go. Let's see what happened to him. I think on the power he was all alone, so I guess on the power too early, or a little bit of running into the gravel there for Le Champion of bronze class, and that is the dreaded bent rear wing that we all hate from the Audi. So yeah, I had a broadcast at 1:10 local time tonight. Then after that we had a broadcast at 2:45 as Mujdi goes wide again, and that car I think is not going anywhere soon, Sam. As Thijs van den Berg also follows suit, speeding there in the dreaded double right-hander. So we had another one at I think it was 2:45 my time, and we ended around 4. And I went to bed like at 5, and at 8 I was already up on my own. Well, my dog woke me up, but that's another story.
I mean, I don't know how you do it with these pockets of sleep that you seem to get. I need 8 hours, heck, 10 hours, 10 hours of constant rest
Now,
in order
so
to
just to be clear, the other day was it like I think Sunday or Monday? I didn't have anything. I went to bed at 10 p.m. and I woke up at 10 a.m. the next day.
Oh, lovely.
Important to have your sleep every once in a while.
So pit stops are going to be happening soon, so
Yeah.
keep an eye out for that one. Jack Ashton turning on the whip, turning up the dials, turning up the power. However you want to put it, he's going fast, and he's only 0.4 of a second behind James Forsyth. However, it might be in his best interest to stay behind Forsyth. Both these guys are going to have a big advantage on the race leader when it comes to fuel, particularly Ashton. who you can probably say will get ahead of Forsyth as long as they both put in the amount of fuel that they need. Um, of course, there's always the possibility that maybe Ashton will put in a little bit too much. Individual liters matter so much in a situation like this. Ashton 3 seconds off the lead could so easily be overturned with a quick pit stop. As long as they take the amount of fuel that they need, as I say again, it could be really close between the top three drivers in this race. So keep an eye out for that one. They are also coming up to P23 driver Ruben Van Buell, who not
Stop
maybe we'll
twice.
have some special interest. Janowski is into the pits. Once again, weird pit entry here. You kind of want to have a clear entrance, but it's not quite as bad as Zolder, where you actually have to brake otherwise. Instead, it's not too bad. And also, not a very long pit lane here either. Here comes Janowski. So probably the one to watch out for is Beard. Beard was stationary on lap 14 for well, actually he had 17.85 seconds. So that's really the only benchmark we've got at the moment. Janowski is up to 13, 14, 15, 16, 17.8, almost the exact same time. So that does certainly seem to be the average, and Janowski will still be ahead. So that strategy for Beard hasn't worked out brilliantly. He's pretty much the same distance behind Janowski as he was previously, and there's now a car between them as well. So Beard might jump Hawkins, but I think that will be the extent of his game.
And so, Sam, we can say now for sure that that lap in which Stein Van Buell was able to pull away at the beginning of the race was like 15 minutes in more or less was the difference maker, because he has never looked back ever since, and he's looking a very good prime position. By the way, Theisberg, I think he's spun entering the pits.
Ooh. That might be an unsafe pit entry.
No, you can. I mean, I remember during the Pro Series there was the qualifying series. There was a big fuss about being able to cut and not
Oh
getting
yeah,
the
I think I remember
penalty.
that.
Don't know if that has been fixed or not. The calendar for that GT World Qualifier as Schurmans and Hawkins Arena as well was so bad. I mean, they had the GT cars run around Branzach, which is a
Oh,
lovely track, but
brilliant.
not the place I would imagine for having them run around in GTE cars. Everyone is in: Moretta, Cooper, Bentham, Bod Boland, everyone apart from the leaders.
I'm surprised that Ashton hasn't come into the pits yet, because he has been stuck behind Forsyth, and probably that pressure as well that Ashton's putting on Forsyth is probably slowing down Forsyth as well. He could probably drive a bit faster than this if he didn't have a car right behind him. They are continuing to lose times. They lost another half second to the race leader. That's up to 3.2 seconds. Of course, the worrying thing for Ashton, of course, if he pitted, then he might come out into traffic. However, there's a very few drivers. I'm seeing PJ Clayton's. He would potentially come out near to. This was a little bit of an off track for Craig Jones coming into the pits. Well, and keep those instant points down as well. You get a couple of bonus points, which the drivers will always crave off the circuit. Clive Vandenberg at that tricky turn 2 again.
I'm not sure that's turn 2, It's actually on the hairpin.
Where are we? Oh, there we are. Oh my goodness, that's part of the reason why this circuit isn't great, because all the corners look the same.
Come, Sam, no excuses. You have the track map now. I would have justified you until a week ago.
Leaders are in, all three of them. So watch the pit stop times. Just looking at some of the other times that we've had. So 17 seconds it was for the first couple of teams. By the way, Hawkins stayed ahead of Beard by a couple of seconds. So that early pit stop for Beard, in hindsight, was not a very good decision, was it? All
No,
the
it
times have
wasn't.
been 17 seconds, low 18 seconds. Nick Sherman's with the longest 18.1. So going to be pretty similar, I imagine, for these guys. Ashton might be able to dip under that 17-second mark. This is the big thing. Will Ashton get ahead of Forsyth? Already going, it's Stein Van Buell. 16.3 seconds And it is neck and neck between second and third. Who is going to get out first? It is Ashton. Forsyth got on the brakes. And where's Yanowski as well? He's pretty close behind. Yanowski's too far behind. But Ashton has got ahead of Forsyth. And, well, Ashton still has a chance of getting his third race victory of the season. He has got 4.4 seconds to catch up. And Forsyth probably did the sensible thing there.
Let's see. I mean, the cars are transparent, so you can go. I
You know
wouldn't
what?
have.
Forsyth should have got more to the left, shouldn't he? He may have had a better chance.
No, I mean, as long as you are coming out of the. I mean, once I remember staying inside another car for half a lap. We came out of the pits together. So, excess of. Say there's you're never. You can never have too much safety. But I think Forsyth was almost too safe in there, if that makes sense. Very, very sportsmanlike, so I absolutely, you know, appreciate that. But at the same time, Ashton now, you see the number 3 on his car, it will become number 2 the next time they cross the start-finish line. And now it will be a matter of fighting with Fan Buell if he can close the. I have no idea why the graphics are showing like this tonight.
Yeah, it's not some kind of update that we've brought in to change the look of the graphics. It's like glitch, seemingly. 4 seconds between the top two. Van Buell leads. Ashton second. Forsyth in third. Janowski, under pressure from Nick Sherms, they were held behind some traffic for a little bit. Also, Sherms came in 1 lap later. And then it's Hawkins and Beard. So, actually, those 4 drivers are all pretty close to one another. Only about 4 seconds separating the 4 of them. And Beard really needs to gain a couple of paces. Might be behind Sherman's. In fact, he's going to be behind Forsyth at the end of this round. He might even be behind Sherman's as well. If it ends like this. The guy who had a 45-point lead going into the Monza round. Looked as though he was going to extend it as well before a mistake at the chicane and then having to come into the pits late on for fuel. Might not matter too much, might turn into a drop round, but still not exactly what he wanted last time out. And so these points are even more important for him as De Winter comes into the pits for the first time. He left it a while.
Yeah, we have 2 drivers without a stop so far, which are still in contention and on the lead lap. One is the Winter and the other is the Wolf. And here comes Steve. So everyone has done their stop. And now we should have a clearer picture of the situation in this. Wow. I promise you, is in the pits there is.
He's running over some crowd members, seemingly.
We really need some pit lane specific cameras.
Oh, get off it.
Come on. I'm doing it as a birthday present.
Yeah, I might do too, fair.
And also we want a camera pack for Virginia.
What, we got one? What are you talking about?
Oh wow, oh well, last night I did the Formula Regional Americas race there. So yeah, I used the default cameras, didn't know that.
Oh,
So, first of all, secondly, there was 100% humidity. It looked like a straight from a horror movie. Grey and dull and foggy and all the trees, and from the blimp there was a big blob of white all over the screen.
But we've done a V8 Supercars round with that camera pack.
Really?
Yeah, so maybe you were using the right ones.
I tend to erase memories of races at Virginia, so You sure I was there?
Absolutely. Oh, 80% sure. 80% sure. It was when McClay won race 2. You know, when Tony was leading and he had to come in late on. And do you not remember that? Maybe I just have a really good memory.
I have always been praised by people for having a great memory, but Virginia is too much for me, unfortunately.
I can also remember Rick Motegi rounds I did. That it was a dull race, about 8 teams entered, and it was like 3 hours long. And yeah, we just chatted pretty much the entire time. It was all right. Very few battles going on. This is the closest one. Yanowski, you looked pretty quick earlier on. He's struggling a little bit now, dipping into the 50s, whilst the others are in the 49s. See Kevin Boland. Now is that turn 2? It is turn 2
Yes.
this time. De Winter's actually gained a few places on this guy. With all the spins, De Winter's up into 19th place now. I think 4th out of the bronze drivers. 3rd out of the bronze drivers. Much better than he was doing earlier on.
Yeah, just a couple of minutes and then we'll have the positions recap with 10 to go, as we are on board with Sebastian Hawkins. As you were saying, this fight for fourth place, apologies, the closest fight that we have on the field, as we are on board with his Audi. Of course, beautifully presented Abruzzi. His very nice shade of teal blue. It's a color I really like, even though I cannot put a name on it. As they go under the bridge here. I always thought this bridge to be massively dangerous for motorcycle racing.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, you never want to think about it, but I always think, you know, about, for example, the scoring tower in Indianapolis on the front stretch. I mean, you know what I mean? You try to not think about it, and it's, you know, you need a freak accident for someone to fly in the air and fly there, but you know, it's still there, you know. But also in Indy, also the beginning of the pit wall. Yes, there are the, you know, there's the safety. I think those basically safety thing is there at the entrance, as Obden is having an issue. He's wide. Also, Van Buel had a problem. Ruben Van Buel.
I
There he is.
they're pulling away still, but there is Ruben Van Buel runs it in too deep perhaps and loses the rear end. What I would say about the bridge is that it is much wider at the beginning than it is at the end. So it's quite tricky to miss the entry of the bridge, I'd say. But of course, if it's in the wet and you go and put your I don't know if you put your foot down, but put your wrist down on a motorcycle, you could certainly spin it up and go sideways into the into either wall. I mean, they still do motorcycle racing around Macau, so
You know, that is another story. You know, I mean, that I think that Macau and road racing as a whole, it's a bit of his own world where the competitors have a different, I think, mindset, and I like to think of it as a different world compared to, you know, proper road course racing. But yeah, I mean, it's a bit crazy that they let them race in Macau, but you know, it's not as different as, you know, not that much different to the Isle of Man or Northwest Grand Prix, etc. You know.
yeah. Although it's proper professional motorcycle drivers, isn't it? You do the Macau event as Boland's off again, and with a bit more damage this time. Maybe he's hit the that's the second tunnel. He's potentially made contact with, although this is going a little bit earlier on.
Oh dear! Ouch! Straight into the armco. I think that has caused him to crab. Lovely dash there on the BMW, all nice and green, but unfortunately he looks like a crab right now. Of course, as you know, crabs are one of the more important, if not the most important animal in Maryland, if I'm not mistaken, in the state of Maryland.
I thought you were going to say in Japan.
No.
Are they particularly prominent in? I assume they are seafood. And why are crabs so important in Maryland?
I don't know, but I remember once I took over a team in a fantasy baseball league from another in an Italian league, and the former owner called the team Maryland Blue Crabs
Oh, okay.
in honor of the, I think it's the state animal of Maryland. That's the only reason why I know it. Ashley Beard has gone a little bit off.
He was
Nothing
catching up
major.
to those guys. In fact, he wasn't catching up to those guys. There you go. Not going to lose much time. I guess Mayland does have a coast, doesn't it? I believe it does at least.
Yes.
So I thought their biggest fee would be biscuits. Oh dear. Another banger right there for you. 1.8 seconds he's got to catch up. 4.2 seconds is the lead for the race leader. And I'm going to let you, Marco, do the race rundown with a few minutes.
Of course, thanks Sam. So overall in gold, Stein Van Buell leads the way in front of Jack Ashton, sitting in second. You can see him here. James Forsdyke is in third, and Joseph Janowski in fourth, and sixth overall and fifth in the gold class. You can see him here is Sebastian Hawkins, still in this fight with the leader of the silver class there, Nick Shermans, for fifth overall, as I was saying. To find the second car in the silver class, we have to go down a bit and find Sam Bentham, who is in 11th place overall, 14th overall and third in class. We haven't talked about him at all, but very quietly is bringing home a nice podium in class. Is Paul Gosling. Then the fourth driver is Steven De Wolf, who is unfortunately out, and fifth in class. Some 8 laps down on the race leaders is Kimbe Height, which again I think is making his debut with the Mercedes and is not working so far for him. A very, very tough race. In bronze, leading the way is still Craig Jones after an adventure of a pit entry a few laps ago, and he is 40 seconds more or less in front of second place Kevin De Winter, who is defending his second place from Jace Obden and Thijs van der Velde. This battle all of a sudden, Sam, exploding on us. I mean, I usually scout the timing tower, timing table up and down all race long to check for other battles in the rear of the field. And all of a sudden, look at this fight here. I mean, this is absolutely crazy.
Yeah, De Winter's been the one who's kept it clean, I think, whereas Hobson's made a few mistakes. Vandenberg's made in fact, I think Berg's made the most mistakes. I think Hobson and De Winter kept it clean on the most part. De Winter did pull away slightly on that last lap, but on the previous lap, he lost over a second. It's actually Beard. Absolute stonker to put in a 49.65. That's half a second faster than anyone else managed on that last lap. It would be great to get a chat with him later on because it's curious what's happened to him because that's the second time he's put in the purple lap time of the race, and yet he's not been able to do a whole lot with it.
I mean, Sam, look at the chat, and now this is why this is my favorite series to cover. I mean, Davey Whittables, spewing knowledge about the Maryland Blue Crabs for all of our viewers.
Thank you very much for that, Davey. Thinking back to that weird crab video, with the dancing crabs, on like the computer animated video.
Yes. Why did you have to remind me of that?
Well, it just popped into my head, and
geez.
I was annoyed by it, so I spread it to all of you. So say, hey, thank you later, Hobden. That's not an overtaking spot, unless you are Mark Marquez, like I said earlier on. He's off the circuit now, and with this new time, well, that's going to lose you time. That's a couple of tenths lost, and any hope of making the move into turn 2. Big points on the line here.
I gotta be careful, Sam, because Stein Van Buell is there, and he will have to go through this trio very, very soon.
By the way, Beard just going faster than everyone again on that last lap. To be fair, actually, fastest driver on that last lap was Joe Janowski in 4th place. Oh, as that's very wide, and that's a spin, and the race leader has to tap on the brakes at least, and now gonna have to wait for all the other race leaders to go past. Is Vandenberg. He's positioning his car to spin it round. There'll be a gap behind Ashley Beard, and there he goes. He uses that. Too much grass.
Oof.
Oh, and De Winter and Hobden are really close now. And Hobden, I think, just moving past De Winter potentially. Here they are. Hobden's having to go to the outside, and the race leader is getting closer and closer to them. Doesn't have to rush this too much. He's got a 4-second lead. And he knows that he's equal on pace with Ashton, so can afford to wait as much as a lap behind these guys. Potentially De Winter hanging on at the moment. The bronze class leader in the championship, ahead of James Hobden. These guys very close on points. And if Hobden could get ahead, that would be a 2-point swing. Not a whole lot of a difference, but I'm sure you'd still appreciate it as a...
I think we have 2 laps to go now. The start of this lap, Sam.
Yep. Yeah, just going to miss out on that third. Gap's down to 3.5. Went down by 7/10 on that last lap. Beard is onto the back of Hawkins now. That's more time being lost here for Van Buell. Remember the blue flag rules? It's very much an advisory flag. There is a faster driver behind you, and that is being spelt out in spaghetti hoops, I imagine.
Oh, banger!
Contact now. And that was way too deep on the brakes for Hobden. De Winter gets spun round, and he's going to do well to stay ahead of Vandenberg. What on earth happened here? And this was earlier on. This is how he nearly got past on the previous lap, Hobden. But it was after this where he went in way too deep, perhaps being put off by Van Buell. He was lucky himself to get through unscathed.
Ouch. That's the only thing I can say. Too bad, because that was going to be a great 3-way fight. Unfortunately, we will not be delighted by that. So, where is the race leader? The race leader is entering the final chicane for the penultimate time in this race. And he will take the white flag 2.2 seconds ahead of Jack Ashton. So, a margin that he can hold on to if he doesn't make any mistakes. White flag is in the air, Sam.
Yeah, the final lap, top 7 separated by 10 seconds, but you can see by the time tower, they've all got decent gaps between them. Here's a nice battle. So Mateus Tem, who had a bit of an incident earlier on. In fact, he had an incident with Bentham, didn't he? Who is Gosling's teammate. Tem now under pressure from Gosling, yeah, and he was only just caught up in the. In fact, actually, I think Tem got passed on the last lap, so he temps up into 14th place, past Paul Gosling. He drops to 15th. This battle, De Winter and well, that was the incident earlier on. Has De Winter has Hobden slowed down? Hobden's let past De Winter. Okay. All right, so that was good sportsmanship from him. And incredibly, despite 2 big offs for 2 of those 3 members of that fight, they have all reconvened relatively close one. I doubt there will be an overtake from any of them to the finish of the race. But yeah, Out's in the lead. We are approaching the final few corners. The gap is down to 1.5 seconds. Didn't put in much fuel, remember, did Van Buell. He just needs to make sure he doesn't splutter across the line. Is he lifting and coasting it all? Seems absolutely fine. Putting his foot down on the brake. He's just cruising in the closing stages. Ashton, before this, was the only multiple race winner. In fact, before Monza, he hadn't won a round this season. He was out of championship contention. He's brought himself right back into it. It's going to be 2 on the trot for Stein Van Buell, who wins at Motegi. Second place is Jack Ashton. Third place, again, is James Forsythe. Jay Janowski is going to finish in 4th with Nick Sherman, Seb Hawkins, and Ashley Beard rounding out a very competitive top 7 places. 6 seconds. Well, a bit more than 6 seconds. I think it was about 9 seconds separating the 7 of them by the end of the race. Top of the silver drivers will be Nick Sherman finishing in 5th place. He's so far ahead of Sam Bentham that Bentham is yet to even approach the finish line by now. And winner of the bronze drivers looks as though it's going to be Craig Jones, who hasn't had the most successful season so far. He's down, way down in the championship. Is Jones. However, it looks as though he is going to be able to take the race win today and a long way ahead of his rival. In fact, an entire lap ahead of his rivals. They've already finished. Now he can finish. Craig Jones finishes top of the bronze drivers in the Dynamic Simracersworld GT Championship Round 7. This was, and I think we've just got Ruben Van Buell to cross the line. But a great drive that from Van Buell, Marco. Last time out at Monza, he was a bit fortunate to build up a lead in the very early stages. Had to work for this one, though. He was under pressure all the way, but did not falter at any point.
Perfect drive, absolutely fantastic. And I said he needs to become consistent if he wants to bring home the title. I think he's a possible title contender if he's in this form. Well, he's as good as anyone, on any given day, and with this newfound, competitiveness by the McLaren MP4 12C, Van Buell can absolutely be a force to be reckoned with from now on until the end of the championship. As we are back to the cine camera and obnoxiously loud karting camera, which I apologize to everyone who's all of a sudden getting his eardrums destroyed. But in any case, the race results should be on your screen right about now.
Stein Van Buell wins by 0.8 of a second ahead of Jack Ashton. That gap going down significantly, but Van Buell kind of had the measure of his opponents all the way through. Jack Ashton, really good points again for him. He extends his championship lead in 2nd place. James Forsythe finishes in 3rd, his 4th third place of the season. He really is keeping himself in the championship hunt. He will be up into 2nd place in the championship now, which is a pretty epic for him in his debut season. Joseph Janowski finishes in 4th. That might be Janowski's best ever finish. I'm not 100% sure on that one. In fact, he's got a 3rd place before, but that's still his 2nd best finish. So nice job there for Janowski. Nick Sherman's top of the silver drivers. Great result for him once again in 5th. Seb Hawkins was in 6th. Frustrating day for Ashley Beard. A little bit strange his pace. Was 9 seconds off the lead. Set a few fastest laps out there, but an early pit stop didn't work his way. Finishes in 7th. PJ Clayson's with a very quiet 8th. Only 16 seconds off the lead. Usually that would be on the podium. Not today. Chris Muretta and Neil Cooper round out the top 10. Then it was 2nd place Silverman, Sam Bentham. Bod Boland was a very quiet 12th place. Then it was Adam Murray, first of the drivers 1 minute down. Was Matthias Tem, who caught and passed Paul Gosling with a few laps to go. Craig Jones was top of the bronze drivers and absolutely dominated the bronze category as well. Ruben Van Buell, tricky race for him in 17th. Kevin De Winter, first of the drivers, 1 lap down, 2nd place out to the bronze. Rounding out that podium was James Hobden. Behind that was Thijs van den Berg, Kim Bahait, Kevin Boland, Stephen De Wolf, Dries Moosty, David Fuller, Tom Methel, and Lee Woodburn. So, interviews with drivers. And we already have a guy to talk to. It is 2nd place man, Jack Ashton. Nice result today, Jack. what are your emotions right now? Are you thinking, oh, maybe with a better qualifier, I could have perhaps won today's race, or are you just thinking, nice second place and did all you could?
Absolutely nice second place. Yeah, I'm really happy with that. Um, I mean, I had great pace in practice against everyone else. Didn't quite put it into showing and qualifying, but I managed to bag it in third on my last flyer. So happy with that. I think I was down in fifth, so that could have turned out to be a different race altogether. But yeah, I mean, great pace all round by Stein and James. Unbelievable, really. I was really happy with my performance tonight. Made minimal errors all race, probably 10th here or there every now and then, but literally nothing, no mistakes. And both of them did the same job, and Stein just did that extra bit more to carry it away. I kept telling James on the chat to just carry on going, because if we start battling, Stein's just going to get away big time. So we did that. We kept the gap a little bit, but Stein's fuel was really good. Fuel stop was really good. Managed to get a really good time save in the pit stop. I thought I thought I was doing pretty well. Thought I might do an extra lap compared to the rest of them, but they managed to do the same job as me. So fair play to them guys, doing a good strategy and good race all round. So I take my hat off to both of them.
Absolutely. We saw a very close moment for you coming out of the pits on your pit stop. You were basically within James Forsyke for a moment. I'm sure you never expected that to happen. And
Yeah.
yeah, so was there any hesitation for you? Because it seemed like James pulled to the right slightly and almost let you go, whereas you just kept your foot down.
Yeah, I had it in my mind I wanted to jump him. I did a little bit of a trick in the pit stop as well. I'm not going to give the game away because obviously everyone will be doing it next, but it gains that little bit extra speed in the pit lane. And as I stopped just before James, so I knew even if I could get a quick pit stop with fuel load, I'm still going to jump him a little bit because I stopped a little bit before him, even if we put the same fuel in. So I got the launch and he pulled away at the same time, but I just had like a nose, even though I was inside him. Just in front of, at that point, I was like, there's no way I'm backing out of this now. Keep it flat. We could stay around half the lap inside each other if we want, but I'm staying, I'm staying flat out. So yeah, I think he just thought he'll back out of it a little bit. I think James plays quite a sensible game anyway. But I wanted that P2 tonight. I mean, I don't think I was going to have Stein. He was rather quick.
In the championship, you extend your lead once again. There's so many competitive drivers in this series. I mean, second place is now going to be Forsyke, but Ashley is led on the most part. I think he led like the first 5 rounds of the season, did Ashley. And then we've also got this surge from Stein Van Buell recently. I mean, driving pretty well recently has been Hawkins as well. Who would you say your biggest challenger for the title is this season?
It's a real tough one. Obviously, I've always kept my eyes on Ash for the first, like you say, for the first 5 rounds. And having him just drop off that little bit more lately, these last couple of rounds. I mean, I got lucky last week at Monza. I really had a bad round, but I somehow pulled it out the bag and got a fourth, so I was happy with that. But yeah, I mean, my eyes have always been on Ash, but it's certainly turning towards Stein. If Stein can keep this up, he's certainly going to be in the run-ins. I'm not sure how far behind he is, but I made sure I tried to bag as much as points as I could as well by getting a 0x that race. So I managed to get an extra 3 bonus points that round tonight as well. So constantly thinking about the championship as much as possible by bagging every point possible. But yeah, I think Stein is my main rival. I think I'm surprised how quick James was tonight. So, but he's been consistent with his results, so it always pays off, I suppose. So, be one to watch as well.
Absolutely. Well done today, Jack. It was a fantastic drive from you. Before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to thank?
Yeah. First off, I want to thank me dad. He sounds a bit odd, but probably about 4 hours ago, if that, doing practice, I was about a second and a half a lap off what I was doing earlier. I just couldn't get the car to feel right around the track. Dad come give me a little bit of advice with setup. He's quite a whiz kid with stuff like that, and we got the car dialed in a lot more, and I gained a lot more time out on track, which gave me the pace tonight. So I wouldn't be up the front tonight if it weren't for him. So I've got to thank him for sure. Along with Fordzilla, cracking job as a team. Can't wait to do more with them. Hopefully see more stuff in the future. Still a bit slow at the moment, but we're getting some big names in the team, so I think it will get the ball rolling quite quickly. And you guys for the stream as well. I think that's about my run-ins.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Jack, and best of luck for Zandvoorts in 1 week's time.
Yeah, thank you.
That was Jack Ashton for Team Fordzilla, finishing in second place. Yet another podium for the championship leader. Marco, we currently have no other interviews. Where is everyone? Absolutely shocking. Gives us a little bit of time to talk about the next round of the championship, round 8 of the season, which is going to be Zandvoorts, which is a circuit that the majority of drivers absolutely adore. If it's safe to say it's an old school circuit, narrow track, not necessarily a whole lot of overtaking opportunities, but I'm sure the Jazz are going to absolutely revel that challenge.
It's going to be a battle, tough to pass, beautiful to drive around there. There are some very, very, very tricky sections, especially at the beginning of the race, the first 3-4 corners with the Tarzan Bocht at the beginning, and of course heading into that hairpin with basically no runoff area. Then you are let loose over the crest, the long right-hander going down the hill. And then the track changes, it becomes very, very wide before entering that final chicane, and of course that final 2 corners, including the legendary Ari Leyendijk Bocht that has, of course, been changed in real life, not yet in racing. So really, I'm thinking that basically the only way you can pass, of course, an opponent mistake or being very, very close through Ari Leyendijk Bocht and making the move into Tarzan. Maybe something in that middle portion where the track goes wide with a couple right-handers to the right, of course, a couple right-handers, and then the left-hander before the chicane there. But yeah, I mean, I don't remember this series going there in the time we have been commentating on it, so it's going to be a very, very nice challenge.
Yeah, surprising that we haven't visited it, because been to Zolder loads of times, obviously, and kind of in that region, of course, in the Netherlands. So yeah, it's a bit surprising that that it's not been too prominent on previous schedules. However, we are very pleased to be bringing that to you next week, of course, at the same time. Just a little bit of a rundown as well for the rest of the races. We've then got the Nordschleife, and be the 24-hour circuit. That's a good preparation for the 24-hour race. And then we'll have Road America, Brands Hatch, and Spa to round out the season. So a mix of circuits, some tight, twisty circuits, some high-speed circuits, and the Nordschleife, which I think deserves a complete category of its own. Really is an enigma. Is that one? So it should be a fantastic end to the season. Coming up in the Dynamics Simracersworld GT Championship. Of course, if you've enjoyed this video, we would super appreciate you leaving a like on it. And also subscribe to the iRacing Esports Network as well. And if you wouldn't mind, please do check out Apex Racing TV, which is our local channel. You can see the vast majority of our broadcasts, even the stuff that we put on the Esports Network. The majority of the time, you can see that on Apex Racing TV as well, along with loads of other broadcasts. I mean, probably an extra 10 broadcasts a week. We are doing so many series at the moment. So certainly do check that out to quench your racing thirst. But for now, from me and from Marco, we are going to say goodbye, and we'll see you next time.